So it seems every soccer mum and every white liberal's favourite feminist, Hillary Clinton, is constantly getting back in the news because she keeps coming out and doing press events where she starts criticising Bernie Sanders, saying stuff like, you know, he didn't campaign enough for me, he did all these things, and we all know in reality that Bernie really treated Hillary Clinton with kid gloves. And for her to come out and start complaining about his so-called lack of support, when we all know he did everything he could to get her elected, despite that being such, probably, like to most of us, it probably really was a hard thing to do for him politically because she's such an awful person. But I just wanted to use the opportunity in this video to talk about her campaign in 2008 for president and some of the underhanded tactics she used. Now, there's a lot of good stuff to go through from 2008 to show you what Hillary Clinton is really like. Now, I'm all for politicians and people evolving over time because most of them do. I don't think that is necessarily a good sign, but, you know, people change. But I think this instance in particular is quite inexcusable, especially for someone of her age at the time. So I'm going to put a picture on screen. This is a picture of President Barack Obama, and he's wearing a traditional outfit, right? But what the Clinton team did in 2008, about 12 years ago, about this time in 2008, so things were heating up. Who were the Democrats going to choose to be the nominee? They send around this photo. Now, many of you will remember that at the time, there was a lot of propaganda that Obama was actually a secret Muslim. Now, of course, this was because he was a black candidate for president. It was also because he had Kenyan heritage, and there are a lot of Muslims in Kenya, and it was also because his middle name is Hussein. So they used this and spread it around to basically play into this myth, play into the myths of many people at the time who did legitimately fear that Obama was a secret Muslim, despite him denying it numerous times. So I'm going to read a little Guardian article from 2008 just to give you the story. But again, look at the picture, I have it up on screen. That is what they circulated. So the article goes, Obama's campaign team today accused Hillary Clinton's beleaguered staff of mounting a desperate dirty tricks operation by circulating a picture of him in African dress, feeding into false claims on US websites that he's a Muslim. Obama's campaign manager, David Plouffe, described it as the most shameful, offensive, fear-mongering thing we've seen from either party in this election. Obama has to spend much of the campaign stressing he's a Christian, not a Muslim, and he did not study at a madrasa. Aides for Mrs. Clinton initially tried to brush off the furore, but later denied having anything to do with the distribution of the picture. I just wanted to make it very clear that we're not aware of it, the campaign didn't sanction it, and we don't know anything about it, Clinton's spokesperson Howard Wolfson told reporters. None of us have seen the email in question. The picture shows Obama in a turban during a visit to Kenya in 2006, and this first appeared on the Drudge Report website today. The site was then circulated by Clinton staffers and quoted one saying, "Wouldn't we be seeing this on the cover of every magazine if this was Clinton?" So the picture was taken when Obama went to Africa as a senator. His father was Kenyan, and he visited a place close to the Somali and Ethiopian border. Obama's campaign manager said it was a disturbing pattern, and it's exactly the kind of divisive politics that turns off Americans of all parties. Maggie Williams, campaign manager for Clinton, played down the significance of the picture, saying, if Obama's campaign wants to suggest that a photo of him wearing traditional Somali clothing is divisive, they should be ashamed. Hillary Clinton has worn the traditional clothing of countries she has visited and has those photos published widely. Now, it's clear they obviously did circulate this stuff and they were trying to play it off, and it just shows the awful racism that played into Clinton's campaign. Now, can you imagine if Bernie Sanders did something like this about, say, Cory Booker? Can you imagine if people in his campaign spread a picture that had appeared on Drudge to really scare Americans that Obama was a secret Muslim? Now, I think we have to remember the context of 2008 is way, way different than today, because I think sometimes we like to think of the 2000s in a sort of bubble that combines the 2010s, when it really wasn't like that. This was during the height of the war on terror. Americans were still, well, still are today, but Americans in general were hysterical about Muslims and Al-Qaeda and all this stuff. So they knew what they were doing. Now, here's the big thing with Hillary Clinton supporters. More Hillary Clinton supporters voted for John McCain than Bernie Sanders supporters voted for Donald Trump, right? More Bernie Sanders supporters supported Clinton in the general then Hillary Clinton supporters supported Obama. That tells you everything you need to know about the base she was really targeting with this sort of stuff. And this was during the primary season. So they were trying to get this fear in people's head. You can't vote for Obama. He could be a secret Muslim. First of all, like that matters for one thing. But again, during that time, it did matter. It did matter that he was a Muslim, because not only was he a black guy who was the first black guy to have a legitimate chance of winning the presidency, because he was in the top 2 at this stage, this late stage in February 2008, but then he had to contend with the fact that people thought he was a Muslim, and this photo perfectly plays into the fears of racists. They say, well look, see, he is a Muslim, look at him. He's wearing a traditional Islamic outfit from somewhere which has a high Muslim population. So this is just one of the many instances that points out how much of a hypocrite Hillary Clinton is. The fact that she comes out and says that, you know, Bernie is divisive, Bernie didn't help me enough, Bernie really ruined my credibility with all these smears and his mob and everything. When her campaign in 2008 were rolling out stuff like this to dog whistle to racists to make sure Obama didn't get the nomination. That's what you've got to remember about Hillary Clinton. And again, she campaigned way less for Obama than he won the nomination than Bernie did for her. More of her supporters voted for a Republican nominee. This was after Katrina, Iraq, Afghanistan and 2008, right? And they still voted Republican, a lot of them, over the Democrats at this time. That shows you everything you need to know about her support at the time, about who she was appealing to, and that she knowingly appealed to them with these dog whistles. Now, I might make another video talking about Clinton's real homophobia in 2008 as well, but I thought I'd just start with this one. But again, she's a massive hypocrite. She evolves, or maybe she's a political chameleon. When things get popular and when things get unpopular, she changes her views on these things. And I just find her really frustrating and annoying. And there's nothing I hate more than so-called feminists supporting someone like this and thinking she's such, you know, slay queen, you're so amazing at taking down the patriarchy. Especially when you were dog whistling to racists in your 2008 campaign. Wasn't that so amazing? You were such a champion for equality. Of course she wasn't. Now anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please leave a like and maybe subscribe. That really helps the channel out. Let's get to 8K. I think I'm about 30 subs away. It's taken ages. Please just subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social media at The Cavernacle on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. All of this should be on screen. Please follow my Reddit, the subreddit in particular, r/thecavernacle, but also my personal page, which is u/TommyCahill1995. Check out my Patreon in the description if you're feeling generous. Check out my WordPress if you want to read some of my writing. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.